Hello.
Can you hear me? No. Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah?
No.
No?
Yes, yes, now
Yes,
we can.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Friends and comrades, a lot has been said about the history of NATO, and we all know that sordid history. I don't want to repeat that, and we know the role of the US and other allies developing NATO and waging wars all over the world. I just want to say a little bit that when all these countries, they are contributing billions of dollars in the war industry and strengthening NATO, and NATO is waging wars all over the world. On the other hand, we should not forget that there are 71.4 million persons of concerns, which they were at the end of only 2017, and the number is increasing every year. What a shame that on one hand, where we are committing billions of dollars for killing people all over the world, and our own people, common people, are dying just because of the absence of basic needs, and as a result of all these countries' greed for these capitalist countries, and people are dying, and more than 350 million children are living only in conflict zones.
Shame!
Shame! Let alone the countries and places affected by famine and natural disasters. Only in conflict zones, which means in the areas which are affected by war and conflict.
Shame!
What a shame!
Shame!
Now let's see what is Canada's role in it. So, in the wake of commitment to contribute minimum 2% of GDP towards military spending and purchasing of warships under the pretext of defense. And we all know what that defense means.
It's a lie!
The lie. Canada is under no threat that needs military defense. This pretext of defense means playing in the lap of the US. So, under the defense budget, Canada has announced to raise the annual military budget to $32.7 billion by 2026.
Shame! Lapdog!
This is an increase of over 70% in the military budget. And another commitment of $150 billion for the purchase of new warships and fighter jets.
Shame!
What a shame!
Shame!
Feel free to share this video on lots of sites.
While these governments,
the
current Canadian government and previous Canadian governments have been making commitments towards NATO. And while these commitments are being made of billions of dollars on military spending and purchasing war weapons, they ignore the fact that poverty is rise in Canada.
Shame!
What a shame! A country that has no threat whatsoever and spending $150 billion. Sorry, and $150 billion worth of war weapons and jets. A country that is going to have a GDP of US $2,160 billion in 2020 has 1 in 10 Canadians living in poverty.
Shame!
200,000 Canadians end up homeless each year.
Insanity!
Insanity. Canada has more than 1.5 million women in low-income category, and among them, top of the most vulnerable are First Nation women, Métis and Inuit, racialized women, immigrant women, and single mothers. And then tens of thousands are homeless, seeking shelters on daily basis in shelter homes, just looking for one hot meal a day.
Shame!
Shame!
Ironically, women's homelessness is often hidden due to violence, sexual abuse, and harassment. And on top of it, during the times of war and conflict, women and girls are the ones who get the impact more than men because of gender divisions or roles and responsibilities. Gender-based inequalities exacerbated for women and girls during wars and conflicts. This modern warfare is wreaking havoc on the lives of women in particular and on everyone in general. Friends, we need to put a full stop to this. We are seeing and experiencing on daily basis that capitalist governments and states are not for common people. They don't work for common people like you and I. They play in the hands of corporations, billion-dollar industries of war weapons, banks and pharmaceuticals.
Shame! Shame!
They form international alliances of imperialism for occupying foreign territories under the guise of international aid and support of democracy.
Shame!
That is bullshit. That is lie.
Big lie!
NATO is one big example. They trump democratically elected governments through political meddling and aids attached with strings. See what is happening in Venezuela.
Welcome to those who are on the
US with the right-wing government of Colombia. They are pressuring Maduro government in Venezuela, and that country is on the verge of war. What a shame.
Shame!
See what US and their allies have did in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya and Pakistan, and the list goes on. History shows that we, the people of working classes, we, the women from all classes and races and colors, and peace activists, we all together have to stand up and fight for justice. They will not leave space for us. Oppressor never gives up voluntarily. We have to fight for our space, for our right, for our peace, and for world peace. I call upon the women of Canada, peace activists, groups and organizations, come forward. Sisters and brothers, come forward, our friends and supporters. Come support each other in this fight. If women win, everyone wins. Because we are holding half of the sky, men cannot do it alone. We both are integral part of each other. And finally, on behalf of the Communist Party of Canada, I want to say that Canada must stop participating in the dirty wars of the US and regime changes in other countries.
Yes!
Yes!
And adopt a foreign policy of peace and disarmament here in Canada and for all nations and states of the world. Canada must stop participating in NATO-led wars, must withdraw from NATO and call for the dissolution of this imperialist war-inflicting organization and spend these billions of dollars towards social programs, climate change, climate-saving programs, healthcare, childcare, free education, low-income housing and employment, and other extremely necessary programs for everyone living in Canada. I'm sure most of the Canadians don't know that Canada is drawn into the development, proliferation, and use of nuclear weapons, which is a shame.
Shame!
Shame! Shame!
No to Canada, no to NATO, no to war.
No to NATO, no to war!
No to NATO, no to war.
No to NATO, no to war!
Canada out of NATO.
Canada out of NATO!
Thank you, friends.
Thank you!
Please take time to show this video.
Thank you, Farah Malik from the Communist Party of Canada. We have a couple more speakers. Thank you for sticking around.